I genuinely don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know what's real, what's not real. Dust Golem has been all over the place. He has not been as consistent as he used to be, in my opinion. And it's just all these other sources. The shit is everywhere. Like, what the hell is going on with Resident Evil? What could we really expect? Now, y'all see the title of the video. I'm going to touch on that right after I go over what Gollum said. This is just crazy, man. I think Capcom is like giving misinformation to throw these leakers off, because we've been getting so many leaks and rumors for like the past month and a half, I would say. And we don't know what's legit anymore. Like, me personally, I don't believe anybody at this point. I'm just going to wait for Capcom to come out. And I'm getting mad at Capcom like they're actually giving us information about Resident Evil when they haven't said a fucking word. Gollum comes out and he says, fuck it, I'm choosing to be the one to burst the bubble in a bigger way of what's going on with the Resident Evil stuff. First, I will wipe the expectations of RE9 being announced this summer, period. And this shit sucks because I thought Resident Evil 9 was going to be announced for the summer fest that's coming out in like a week or two. So that sucks. He goes on to say RE9 is pushed back to late 2025, 2026.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
And if it is delayed, if this is true, the game is coming out in 2026. It's not going to come out in 2025 because Capcom doesn't release Resident Evil games in the fall. It's always in the beginning of the year. It's at least January through March or April. That's when you can expect a Resident Evil game. So if this is true, RE9 is not coming out for another 2 years, which is fucking ass because they've been developing this game for 7 years. He goes on to say, if everything I've heard is correct, which I fully believe it is, and I'm not the first to say this publicly, actually just is not caught on. There's actually a remake of Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil Code Veronica in development right now. All the news we've heard, Resident Evil 9 is coming early next year. Resident Evil 1 is getting a remake. Like, none of that shit is true, okay? None of that shit is true. Resident Evil 9 might actually be coming out in 2 years instead of next year.
You're gonna cry in the car.
And not only that, the Resident Evil 1 remake isn't coming out at all. The shit is not getting remade. But instead, Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica is getting remakes. Now, I had a video that I was about to release this week talking on the Resident Evil 0 remake. Because if y'all watched my last Resident Evil video, I had a prediction that since the Resident Evil 1 remake was happening, Resident Evil 0 was going to be like hidden, like a sneaky DLC for it that they were going to keep under wraps and then surprise everybody with. And I said, Resident Evil 0 by itself, standalone, I don't think it's going to do as well. It's one of the most hated Resident Evil games in the mainline entry. I mean, 6 is horrible, but Resident Evil 0, in my opinion, is no better. I despise 0. I'm going to get on why in just a little bit. But I just didn't feel like them announcing a Resident Evil 0 was going to send shockwaves in the fan base, or maybe to the modern audience because they don't know any better, but it's just not a popular Resident Evil. But what I'm excited to hear, because I've been screaming and yelling for a Code Veronica remake for years, it's finally happening, reportedly. I don't know if I can trust Gollum at this point because Gollum has been all over the place. I don't know if he's just saying shit or if the people he's getting the information from is just not as reliable. I really feel like Capcom is just giving out BS to send these leakers all over the place. Truthfully, we don't know what the hell Capcom has going on. I know they have Monster Hunter coming out early next year, but now I'm thinking Resident Evil is not going to be a thing next year. And it sucks, even though we just got RE4 last year. It seems like we're going to be on a 2-year hiatus from Resident Evil. But let's talk about if this is true or not. Let's just say this is true. Everybody's going to be happy as hell that Code Veronica is getting a remake. This is my very first Resident Evil game ever. It's near and dear to my heart. The game could definitely use a remake. The controls, the tank controls are the worst controls in mankind. Like, the shit is horrible. That's why I would never go back and play Code Veronica. But the game was kind of cartoony and everything. But Claire, Chris, Wesker, a remake is going to do numbers. So I'm praying that this is true. Now, let me talk about Resident Evil 0. I don't often say I despise a game with all my heart, but Resident Evil 0 is one of those games I fucking hate. Now, why do I hate it so bad? The inventory system. For some reason, Capcom thought it was a great idea to strip the inventory box and force players to drop items in random areas. For most people, I think we all dropped the items in the mansion hallway, the main hallway, and you couldn't tell which item was which. So say if let's just say you needed a key and you just didn't have inventory room because you know you didn't have, you don't get inventory room like that in the older Resident Evil games. You would have to go back, pick up each and every item, and I had about 70 items on the fucking floor. You have to pick up each item until you found the right one and just keep rinsing and repeating. I hate Zero. I never finished it. That is the only mainline Resident Evil game I have not finished. Hell, I finished Resident Evil 6. I forced myself to do that shit. So they could make Resident Evil so much better. I am a huge Rebecca Chambers fan. So I would honestly love to see her journey get a remake and a proper, better story. Storytelling in Zero was garbage. Now don't get me wrong, you don't buy a Resident Evil game for storytelling. I think Village has the best storytelling out of all Resident Evil games. But it was just so cliche, and it was just you know what I'm saying? But it would make so much more sense if they remade RE1 again. Yes, again, fuck you. Because you could just make Zero DLC and you get 2 for 1, bang for your buck. Doesn't that make sense to y'all? Because to me, it just makes all the sense in the world. But I get it. RE1 has a remake already. I'm not mad if they don't touch it again. But if you're gonna remake Zero, I feel like they should just remake 1. Just fuck it, because you're remaking the whole mainline entries anyways. You might as well just do 1 again. You might as well. And I don't know if y'all seen this either. Dust also said RE5 remake is actually not in development at all. Like I said, I really don't know what to believe at this point. But if this is true, we are not gonna see the RE5 remake probably until like 2028, 2029, or 2030. Around around that time, and that is a cool little minute away. I just want to read a piece of this IGN article or whatever. This is a known quote already, but this is just for the people that don't know anything about, you know, what the Capcom developers are saying. So Capcom was asked if they wanted to keep making remakes, and then they said, we've released 3 remakes so far and they have all been received very well. Since it allows the modern audience to play these games, it is something I am happy to do as someone that loves these older games, and we want to continue doing more. So that's really why we all knew that the whole mainline entry was going to be remade. Because Capcom not only loves the RE fan base, but we make them probably the most money out of any of their other series. Let's just call a spade a spade. The money means everything. If Resident Evil was not doing that good, they were not going to be remaking these games just for the fun of it. I don't really know how well Monster Hunter sells, but I think Resident Evil was their best selling series. I'm just really surprised they didn't hop on the Code Veronica remake train way earlier, around after the time Resident Evil 2 had a remake, because let's face it, Code Veronica is really Resident Evil 3. I mean, we all know this. So I would have preferred it over the RE3 remake. I've never been a real fan of the original RE3. A lot of people just love Nemesis so goddamn much. I love Jill, but I mean, that game, it was alright. You know what I'm saying? The remake was okay too. Code Veronica is better in my opinion. I would die on that hill. Now, it's just at the point with these Resident Evil remakes, is just what is the next one we're gonna get? Clearly, they're all gonna be remade. Zero, I think 1 is still gonna be remade. It just doesn't make sense for them not to do it if they're gonna do 0 of all games. But we can fully expect those games to be remade. What I'm really curious about when it comes to these remakes is what the hell are they gonna do with 6? Honestly, 6 doesn't need a remake. It needs a whole fucking reboot. That game needs to be redesigned from the plot, the characters, everything. Yeah, it's cool seeing everybody from the RE franchise in one game, except I think Jill wasn't in the game, but most of the heavy hitters was in RE6. But the story, the fucking Michael Bay action sequences was all ridiculous, okay? I don't like ducking in Resident Evil games. I said the same thing about RE5. I feel like I should not be shot at. I should not feel like I'm in a hood shootout in a RE game, okay? I just don't like it. Capcom has my full attention, because now I'm just even more eager to know what the hell is coming next. What are they going to announce at the Summer Game Fest? Probably Monster Hunter. Wow, I don't care for Monster Hunter. I'm not going to lie. I love Capcom games. Monster Hunter is one of the series I just could not get into. It's just so boring in my opinion. And it's all grindy. I don't mind grinding, but no diddy. But I just really don't like the Monster Hunter series like that. It's just not for me. So I hope we get a logo, a character trailer, something at Summer Game Fest. I don't even care if it comes out in 2 years. Just show us something, man. Show us something of RE9. But I'm hoping this is true. I cannot wait to see what a Code Veronica remake looks like, and I can't wait to see what they do with Zero. Because Zero, although I hate the game, has some cool stuff, like being able to switch through characters at any given second. That was cool. So I feel like they can build on something like that. So they can definitely make RE0 co-op, and that could be something to build on for the future of Resident Evil 5 remakes co-op. So it's a lot Capcom can do, but they have my full attention. I'm all ears. Excited because we really don't know what the hell is going on. We don't know what the hell, when these games are going to drop. We don't know anything. So let me know what y'all think. This just feels like a big ass mess in my opinion. I feel like Capcom is just playing with these leakers and everything, and they're doing a fantastic job at it. Because Dust Gollum is over here scrambling like the SpongeBob episode where all the SpongeBob was running through the cabinets like, what's his name? What's his name? That's what the hell is going on right now. So I don't know, but the future of Resident Evil is mysterious right now. It's a lot of good shit rumored, but we just don't know if it's true and what's coming next. Okay, so let me know in the comment section what y'all think. What some Resident Evil remakes y'all want to come out next? Are y'all excited for a potential Code Veronica remake? I know a lot of y'all not even fucking with Zero like that, but are y'all excited for Zero as well? And what could they do to make both remakes better? I'll continue making videos speculating on what they could do for these Resident Evil remakes and everything. I want to thank you guys all for the love and support, the comments, everything. I'm trying to get to every comment. Don't get to it, my bad. This channel has really skyrocketed in subs and everything since like what, last month, so I greatly appreciate all y'all. I cannot stress that enough. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.